What we're going to do today, I'm going to lead this horse by the feet. Why do we do that? If your horse is out in the pasture and it gets its leg caught on something, it's just going to tear it off. It's just going to freak out and tear it off. If you don't get all the body parts broke, you really only have part of a horse. And this is just another way to teach this horse how to follow a feel, read my intentions, control its emotions. A lot of things are taking place here that will help you down the line. And every horse that comes here gets led by the feet. Whether it's a dressage horse, prospect, stock horse prospect, doesn't matter. Every horse that comes here, I get them used to a rope around their feet. I'm going to check this camera real quick. And see if it's pointed where I want it to point. All these videos I make, I just have a little thing that clips to the top of a panel, and then I point the phone at it and hit start. That ought to be good enough. I can't stress enough though. And I also want to say, if you don't believe in handling their feet, I hope your horse never gets caught up or tangled up in something. I do. Now, there's all kinds of ways to do this. I leave an emergency brake on him most of the time. This is my emergency brake. I can lead this horse around, I can back him up, I can stop him. This is just a cheap piece of rope. If you're gonna use a rope around your horses, I highly recommend you don't wear gloves. Why is that? With gloves on, it don't hurt your hands and you pull too hard. And that's just my opinion. I'm just going to put this right here. And this ain't no place that I haven't touched him before. You can see he's standing here, he's being pretty quiet. The things I do with these horses, I don't do it to scare them. I do it to make them better. And you can see that this ain't no slick roping job. It's just, I got a metal ring tied in a piece of this man-killing rope here. I'll hook it right around that fetlock. And I'm going to try not to use this rope right here, but if I need to settle a wreck down, I will. I'm going to have this horse, I'm going to teach this horse that pressure there means step forward, and when he does, I'm going to pet him. There, just like that. Now, if you've done your due diligence, it should be that easy. But I want him to give to that pressure there. I'll send him back over here. He's being kind of antsy this morning. You dance with who you took to the party, don't you? I'm going to ask him for one more step. This is loose. I'm not backing up. I'm not pulling him with my body. I'm just going to pull that foot forward. He's out of balance. I'm going to let him find his balance again. Just kind of pull on this. Kind of just irritate him a little. Pay attention to what you're doing too, so you don't get tangled up in these ropes. Now I'll stretch that foot a little further forward. I'll stretch it another forward. If he puts it down toe first, he's thinking forward. If he puts it down heel first, he's thinking backwards. Now that we've let him just a little bit, and he doesn't seem to be too bothered by that, now the trick is to get it off, huh? Well, it's just another excuse to work with the feet. And there you have it. It'll help your farrier too. We're going to do it again. He's licking and chewing. And believe me, this horse here, he had some trouble when he came here. You take him through the steps. You fix the things that ain't right. You educate him. You don't punish him. Pretty quick they get to where they trust you and they'll try anything. I want to put this around his leg. That's all I want to do with it. I've rubbed around his leg a bunch. I'm going to pull him back over here so you can see. I'll pull him up with my, there. Now I'm going to ask him to stand still. And we'll put this around his leg again. It's not a speed event. A lot of times with these horses, the slower you go, the quicker you get done. And once again, if you don't believe in this, I pray that you never have a horse get tangled up in nothing. But if anybody's ever took a horse to the vet because it stuck its foot through a fence and degloved its leg, or got a wire cut that took a year to heal, this might be something you're interested in. And this is just how I do it. I've worked on places before where we did it horseback. Nothing wrong with that either, if you know how to handle a rope. Now he's standing over there. I'm going to pet him for being good. I'll pull him so that his foot's off balance. Remember, we want that toe to touch first. This foot here he's a little bothered by. There. I want his toe to touch first. There. I'm going to ask him again. We'll wait. Toe. He's out of balance. He balanced himself. And you could spend an hour doing this, 2 hours, doesn't matter. I'm just kind of showing you how I introduce the foot rope. This horse never had a foot rope on him that I know of. Now we got to take that off. So now I'm going to hold him with this foot rope. And he's kind of bothered by that. I'm going to bring him back up here to me. There. I don't want him backing up when I go to get this. I want him thinking, stand still. If he was caught in the wire, he'd sure be wanting to stand still. I'm going to wait. This horse is backing up. I'm going to bring him forward again. Now I'm going to pet him. Hold him. Pet him. hold him, pet him. He don't want me over here this morning, and that's okay. I'm going to hold this foot. I don't want him backing up on this. Got my emergency brake back in play. There. I'm going to hold him. I don't want him backing up when I go to that shoulder. He's backing up again. I don't want him creeping backwards. I ought to be able to go up to this shoulder and pet it. I ought to be able to pet him anywhere and not have him back up. Now we're going to do a back foot. Now we've done our due diligence, and we've rubbed him back there on his back feet, or back legs. Hell, we've picked up his feet. But I don't, he's got kind of a habit of creeping backwards. I'm going to put this rope in the crook of my arm right here so that I've got both hands. Now with back feet, I don't lead them by the back feet. Farriers don't like it when you pick up their back foot and they walk forward. So what I do with back feet is I teach him to stop. Now I'm going to back him up. Whoa. And I'll hold that until he relaxes, puts that foot on the ground. We want the toe to hit first. If the heel's hitting first, he's thinking backwards. If the toe's hitting first, he's thinking forward. And remember, we've already experienced that he's been wanting to back up, creep backwards, not run backwards, but just creep backwards. I'll pull him up here. I'll pick that foot up and go, whoa, and set it down. Pick that foot up and set it down. Now I'm going to walk him forward. That, woo. There. And I'll bring him out here a little further so you can see better. Remember the back feet, I teach him to stop. So I'll back him up a little bit. Woo. Good. Now I'm going to pick that foot up off the ground and set it down. Pick that foot up off the ground and set it down. I don't want him creeping backwards, and I don't want him moving. I don't want him to be bothered by that. I got this rope in the crook of my arm so I could grab it if I need to, but it's not pulling on him. Woo. There. Woo. There. I'm going to pet this foot. I'm going to reach behind here and pull that foot forward. Take that rope off. He's still He's plenty touchy, but all we can do is work on it, and he gets that worked with every day. Yep. Back up. There. Now we'll get organized again. And if you experiment with this, and your horse gets caught in a chunk of wire, whether you're on a trail ride and it's an old rusty down fence, or just a fence at your house, your horse won't care if there's something around his feet, and he'll stand still. You'll save your horse a lot of pain. You'll save your horse a lot of anxiety. That foot there is bothering him some. I'm just hanging in there. I got my emergency brake on. I'll get him stopped again. So here's what I'm gonna do. Instead of just taking that rope, I'm going to make him look at me. I'm going to go back and touch this again. Instead of just hanging in there with that rope and hurting him or burning him or scaring him. It don't make no sense when all you got to do is back up and touch him. Today he's jumping. I got a mare on the other side of the round pen over there that's in season, and he's real concerned about that. Well, I'm going to touch him here. I'm going to rub him all over here. I'm going to put my hand on him here. And I'm going to do what it takes to get him to relax here. There we go. He's real concerned about this side today. See how he keeps bending towards me? He's not stood straight since I started this video. This horse has a tendency to overreact and lose control of himself. But it's a lot. It's getting better every day. So with this one, this foot, I'll just build a little trap. But I went back and rubbed him and helped him calm down. I'm not hiding this from him. Now that's why I leave the emergency brake on here. This is my emergency brake. He knows what this means. Woo. So what could have turned into something really terrible, now it's a learning opportunity. But I backed up till I got to a place where he could handle it and just built back on it. I'm going to pull that foot forward. He tips the toe down. I let it go. Now I got to prove to him that having a rope around that foot is no big deal. I'm going to have him step forward. Woo. Woo. I'll pick that foot up, set it down. I don't want him to leave. You pick that foot up, set it down. I don't want him to panic. I don't want him to hurt himself. I want to teach him something. then set it down. Now I'm going to pull him forward again. Whoa. Whoa. When he stops, I'll set it down. I'll get him over here where you can see. Now, we're working on him creeping backwards at the same time here. I'll bring him up here. Whoa. Put pressure on that foot and said, whoa. Pick it up. Set it down. I want him to stand still. Every time he gives to that, I'll give back. Whoa. There. He started to creep backwards. I said, whoa. And I pulled on this foot. Now I'm going to pick it up again and set it down. Pick it up, set it down. And if you do that, you'll get this horse to where you can use foot ropes on him. And he will not get hurt, maybe as much, if he gets in a panel or a fence. Put this in the crook of my arm. Pet him. If he creeps, whoa, whoa. When he quits, I set that down. I'm going to bring him back up here so you can see. There. Woo. There. I want to pet him. He's not in trouble. Whoa, 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 whoa. 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 There. Hey. How's it going today? Whoa. You got your horse with you?
No.
Okay. As soon as we get this a little better, I'll get you started, okay? Whoa. See how he's creeping back? I don't want him creeping backwards. I was going to take the rope off, but then when I started to go back there to take the rope off, he started creeping backwards and being bothered again. So we can't quit there. See how he's pushing into me right there? I think he's just looking, but I want his head over there. Woo. Yeah, good. Woo. Woo. And you have to work on what you need to work on when you need to work on it. Whoa, 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 whoa. And remember I said, the back feet, we teach them to stop. We don't lead them by the back feet. Farriers don't like it. But he could dang sure stand here. We'll wait for him. There, that works right there. And he's creeping backwards again, so I'm going to bring him back up here. Woo. Woo. I ought to be able to walk back here and pet him. Whoa. 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 Step him up. I'm using the lead rope there to make him come forward because I don't really want him to lead forward off that foot, but I don't want him creeping backwards anymore. He's hiding that foot from me. So, a way that I'll get that is I'll go back to this again, and I'll rub that leg. And I'll just keep creeping back while I'm rubbing it. Instead of turning it into a war, I don't want to turn it into a war. I want him to stand here and trust me. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Now set it down. Now I'm going to pick it up. There, and set it down. And pick it up. And set it down. This lesson has to be learned. He gets a back foot caught in a piece of wire in a fence, and he'll start doing that, and it'll start hurting. And when it starts to hurt, he'll panic. And that's why I rope every horse by the feet. This is how I introduce it. This horse never had his feet roped that I know of. And I didn't edit out the bad stuff. You got to see the whole deal. Foot, set it down. Foot, set it down. Foot, set it down. Foot, foot, set it down. Now I'll lead him forward out of that. And that's how I introduce horses to the foot rope. Like I said, if you don't believe in foot ropes, I hope your horse never gets tangled in the wire. Bye.